This is video number 48 for cello players, and in this video we're going to be playing the eighth notes that we've just learned how to do over on page number 20 in your book. Now in the last video I said you would need a pencil, and I think I forgot to tell you what to do with it. I implied it, but I don't think I told you. See where it says 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Remember, we are going to count differently. It's just a different system. I want you to change those ands to tays, T-E. 1 tay, 2 tay. Now the rule I wanted you to remember with quarter notes and eighth notes, a quarter note gets a number and a tay. It gets both halves of the beat. I left this rhythm up here on purpose. I know it's kind of far away, but half, 2 halves, 2 peak tiles, 2 halves make 1 whole beat, okay? So a quarter note gets both of those. If you have eighth notes clicking on your metronome, you're going to play through 2 clicks for a quarter note because it gets 2 halves. An eighth note, it takes 2 eighth notes to make a quarter note. 2 halves make a whole. How much bow should you use on an eighth note? You should use half a bow on an eighth note. You should use a whole bow on a quarter note. Remember, you don't actually pull your bow any faster. Now, when you're looking at your music, how do we know when it's eighth notes? It has the bar above it, or in some cases below it. The 2 notes, 2 or 4 notes, are connected together, such as this right here with a bar. That's how we know they're eighth notes, not quarter notes, okay? Eighth notes by themselves, I mentioned this in the previous video, they look a little bit different, but we're not going to see those until book 2, okay? So let's just start with practicing quarter notes and eighth notes, and I just want you to echo what I do. We're not going to play anything that's on the board necessarily. I just want you to echo what I do. Quarter notes are going to get 2 eighth note clicks. And from now on, most of my videos are going to have eighth notes clicking on the metronome instead of quarter notes. If you want to practice and your metronome does not have the eighth note feature, what can you do? You can just simply double the number. So this is at 60, double the number. And then you've got eighth notes at the same speed, okay? All right, just start with 4 quarter notes. Remember, eighth notes are clicking here. 2 clicks for each note, both halves to get a whole beat. Let's see, quarter notes go. 1, 2, 3, and echo me. D, 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 D. Do 4 quarter notes again. And go D, 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 D. Now I want you to do 1 measure of eighth notes. By the way, eighth notes. How many eighth notes are in 1 measure? Well, there's 4 quarter notes in a measure of 4/4 time. And if it takes 2 eighth notes to make a quarter note, there's going to be 8. That's why it's called an eighth note. It's 1/8 of a measure. Who knew? Now you do. Okay? So, half a beat, but they're called eighth notes because they're an eighth of a measure. Half a bow. 1 tay, 2 tay. Echo me. 4 beats of eighth notes, 1 measure of eighth notes, that means 8 eighth notes. Echo me. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, and go. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. Again. And go. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. Now I want you to look at number 66 in your book. Now notice you have 4 eighth notes and then 2 quarter notes. So you're going to have 4 fast notes and 2 slower notes, okay? 4 eighth notes and 2 quarter notes. Listen to it first. Don't echo yet, just listen. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. Notice when I played those quarter notes, it got 3 tay, 4 tay. Quarter note gets a number and a tay. Now play that, echo me. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, and go. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. All right? Now look at number 66. Now I want you to play this with me on open D. Play this on open D. I'm going to tell you right now, some of you are going to mess up at the end because look, it does the same rhythm Remember, rhythm means a combination of quarter notes and eighth notes for now. But then look at the fourth measure. There's a quarter rest at the end. Many of you are going to mess up and play there. Prove me wrong and don't mess up. Okay, play 66 with me. If you finish after me, you probably messed up on the rest. And half a bow for the eighth notes. 1 take, 2 take, red C and go. 1 take, 2 take, 3 take, 4 take, 1 take, 2 take. Both clicks on the quarter note. Now careful, here it comes. 3 take, rest. Hopefully you didn't do an up bow at the end. You should have ended here. Okay? If you missed that, try that again on your own. Maybe rewind the video and make sure you end up at the tip here. Okay, now we're going to go on to 67, and I'm going to teach you something kind of strange right now. It's something called shadow bowing. And shadow bowing is something we will do quite a bit when we're learning a new song. Because sometimes when we mess up, it makes us mess up even further. Like hearing our mess up, hearing our mistake, makes us mess up again, and then we get lost and it's bad. Shadow bowing, you're actually going to do everything except make sound. So here's what you're going to do. I want you to take your bow and put it on your lap behind your cello. But you're going to do everything else. We're looking at number 67. It's called Pepperoni Pizza. And the first note is high D. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bow, but I'm not going to make any sound because my bow is on my lap. Now, what's the purpose of this? I'm telling you, it will help you learn a song because hearing our mistakes makes us mess up. So the thing is, you've got to do everything. So look at measure 1. You have high D, then C sharp, C sharp. Okay, so you should have picked up your finger. Okay, so you put your high D down and shadow bow with me, measure 1. Red C and go. D, 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 C sharp, C sharp. Okay? Now try measure 2. I'm going to turn the metronome back on. Try measure 2. Measure 2, you have B finger down, 1 finger. Bow is back here, 1 finger. Red C and go. B, 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 A, A. Did you pick up your finger? I hope so. Go back to measure 1, do measure 1 and 2. Shadow bow. Red C and go. D, 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 C sharp. Pick up your finger. Now B, 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 A, A. Now if we just look at this thing, it's just down the D scale. Just look, it goes G, F sharp, E, D. That's all it is. Now I want you to look at the title of the song. The title of the song says Pepperoni Pizza. The reason it's called that is because it will help us remember this rhythm. If you go pepperoni pizza, I know it's silly, but it will help, okay? Now when you're playing 67, the pepperoni is on high D. Pepperoni. When you switch to pizza, you move to C sharp. It's going to help. I know it's silly, but it will help. And you're going to hear me refer to this as the pepperoni pizza rhythm because you're going to play it a lot. So I want you to shadow bow the whole thing first, okay? So you've got your high D down. You're going to be back here. I'm going to play it. And as you're moving, you're going to hear what it should sound like, and it's going to help you learn it. You have to trust me on this because I know it seems very strange to you. Put your high D finger down. Put your bow back here. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to play. Okay? Shadow bow the whole thing, 67. And guess what? There's a rest at the end. 1 take, 2 take, 67, high D, go. D, D. Now C sharp. Now B. And get ready for G. F sharp, E, D. Breeze. You should have ended at the tip. Now, of course, you're back here right now, right? Okay? Now, I want you to play that with me. High D finger down, 67, high D finger down. 1 take, 2 take, red C, high D, go. D. Now, C sharp, C sharp. Now, ready for G? Rest. Don't play during the rest, okay? All right, so what I would do at this point is take some time to practice that one. You might want to practice, if you got stuck on 66, just practice that on open D. No, there's no note written there, right? But you're going to practice 60, the rhythm raps. Rhythm raps are just rhythms, okay? There's no different notes. And so we just play it on open D, okay? Sometimes we might clap it, but in this case, I want you actually playing it. All right, so practice 66 and 67 till you get them right, because if you're not getting that, 68 and 69 and 70 are going to be really difficult. So 66 and 67 until you get it right, and understand, remember, the notes that have the bars on them like this are the fast notes. And remember, they can also look like that. They don't have to be 4 grouped together. It can be just 2 of them grouped together. What identifies it as an eighth note is the bar. An eighth note gets a number or a te. A chord note gets a number and a te. Remember that and you'll be good.